If you feel numb, stuck, or like you keep chasing highs that don't last, this chapter explains what you're really seeking: aliveness, and the three inner shifts that create a high with a carryover instead of a crash. This is chapter 2 of There's a Hole in My Love Cup: Becoming Truest Self and Unleashing Greatness. Quick note: this is for reflection and education, not therapy or medical advice. Chapter 2: Becoming Truest Self and Unleashing Greatness. So, where were we? What the heck is really going on inside each one of us? What is it that really, really, really drives us to therapy? What is it that we really seek? It's not the desire for security, though that is a big driver in many lives. It's really not wealth, though that has appeal. Further, what we really seek is not even the meaning of life. As we age, inch by inch, year into year, we realize that what we really seek from this life is the experience of aliveness. We want to feel fully alive just once, or we long to maybe even feel on fire and passionate about life for a long time, maybe even for good. And by the time we get around to wanting therapy, we realize how much aliveness we've lost, whether we've lost time, lost energy, or lost our own self and sense of being real. It is that sense of invigoration that we seek, that vitality and feeling truly on fire for life and all that it holds. It's more than just mere joy or even inner peace. Aliveness includes happiness and peace, yet also includes this flare of true excitement, not every minute of every day, but an overarching feeling, day in and out, that life is finally, truly, fully in blossom. Simultaneously exciting, calm, and largely effortless. That's what we're all really seeking: aliveness. Where aliveness isn't. With my more rogue clients, those who aren't as comfortable with the fuzzy spiritual language, which is the greater preponderance of my clientele, I describe it as the desire that we all have to get high. We're all just trying to get high in life. We really are. That's why we gamble, acquire more and more possessions, go out to eat incessantly, overwork and do drugs, have kids, get into religion, books, vacation, overexercise, go to every Springsteen or Fish concert, and do almost every manner of human activity. Everything is an attempt, in some form or another, of getting high. But why? Generally, we seek to get high because life sucks so badly that we seek escape. It bores us, it numbs us, or it just bleeds all life from us. So we desire to feel something, anything. We're seeking something lasting in the arms of something temporary. Or life is so intense or painful that we seek to get numb, check out, and forget for just a minute all that afflicts us so that we can finally breathe for just a moment. It is why people get hyper addicted to sports teams or even horror movies, for instance. It is the desire to feel something. It is the reason people gamble or even become over involved in their children's lives, either living vicariously through them, pushing them to get new achievements, which the parent can then draft off, or enmeshing in them, using them for affection, needs, and or even emotional approval and problem solving. This is a big reason people cheat in relationships, do drugs and drink heavily, or engage in the several hours of binging and purging of bulimia. For example, for those brief hours, the incessant churning of the mind, the constant negative thoughts, beliefs, and other life killing energies gets turned off. There is a release, albeit momentary, and when these activities, such as binging and purging, or excessive pot smoking, or gambling, become life consuming, when the quest for escape is literally unceasing, it becomes very easy to focus on that behavior as the problem in your life, as if the addiction itself is the real problem. Most therapists just try to get rid of the addiction or the bad behaviors. so that the person can be more ensconced in his or her life when it was that life that drove them to the bad behaviors in the first place. However, the real problem is the underlying belief system that you have about yourself. That is what is driving the problem. The mad escape activities have been your friend in a matter of speaking, getting you through the very hard life of living with what's going on inside of you. Those messed up and consuming behaviors will almost effortlessly go away if the real root of the problem is addressed and taken care of. Destroy the debilitating core beliefs, and new creation follows in its wake. You no longer need to run from or numb yourself from life because you've created a life that you want to be engaged in more and more. But again, that only happens when you've gone down to the very bedrock of your soul where the self destructive core beliefs are pressed into the firmament of your existence. Anything less will be half solution created by not going deep enough. And half solutions look pretty for a while, but eventually feel forced and fall flat long term. What if your birth chart could tell you exactly how you manifest best? You've got air, water, fire, and earth in your chart, but how you work with them, that's where the real magic is. Welcome to your elemental magic reading, a reading that's part astrology, part ritual science, and all you. I'm not just reading your chart, I'm decoding how you move energy from the idea to the emotion to the action to the result. Find out which one runs your life and which one's asleep at the wheel. This reading will call it out with love and fire. Rituals customized to your energy, not some copy-paste Pinterest witchcraft. Want to know how you have magic? This elemental magic reading isn't just a vibe. It's the first key into the vault of the alchemist laboratory. This isn't about memorizing astrology. It's about learning to live it. Book your elemental magic reading now. Alchemist Lab members get first dibs, deeper discounts, and secret sources. If you know, you know. If you don't, well, there's still time to remember. Continuing in this thread of where aliveness isn't, far too easily in America, we wrap happiness only in terms of the standard American dream sort of things. House, family, cars, title, great career, vacations, and dinners out. If I can just get everything, have everything, then I'll be happy and have peace, we think. Once I get success and money, then I can be who I want to be and do the things I want to do. And that thinking is always driven by someone trying to prove themselves to someone else first, and then being who they really want to be. Mistakenly, though, they're not aware of it. They think approval must precede authenticity, as if permission to be real must be first given by an external source. That thinking is always, at its core, driven by the fear of living authentically now. Only when I have proven my worth to others can I live my truth for me. And that's a path that rarely ends well or comes without pain, no matter how much we're sold on its merits by society. This absorption into the American dream and its supposed promise of happiness can last decades, but eventually the veneer fades. The promise we thought it held erodes, whether we can articulate it as such or not. Now, I'm all for the American dream, but not as a primary source of happiness and love. American dream related acquisitions are never enough to satiate what we really seek deep down. One of the grand cliches of in my work is the number of people who have the house, the boat, the title, vacations, great kids, great spouse, great career, etc., and yet they're utterly empty inside and numb. We long for aliveness now, yet very young, we begin getting our wings clipped bit by bit, year by year. People want to rein us in, control us, make us easier for them to tolerate and deal with or manipulate to their end. But our soul calls out to us each day, longing to be set free, longing to fly at full wingspan, longing for that lasting happiness and peace. Today, now, in the present, not in some distant future, Essentially, the soul is calling you to proclaim and live your worth now rather than waiting to somehow gain approval and worth from some arbitrary figure from your past or present, a waiting that rarely yields the fruit it desires. And the simple truth is that ain't nobody else gonna fall in love with you until you fall in love with you. Not only that, we seek flow, that feel that life has picked up positive momentum that carries us along, that we no longer have to grind the pedals one more crank to get the bike to move just a few more feet. Hangover versus carryover. What we further discover with age is that nearly all of the attempts to get high end. We seek something lasting, but keep running into highs that burn out. And more often than not, we crash. There's a hangover. Whether it's gambling, cheating, smoking grass, boozing, absorption in your children, excessive fitness or yoga, sports obsession, or just about anything else, there's always a hangover, a come down, a grand letdown. The high, it seems, never lasts. We discover that what we really want is a high that has no hangover, but has carryover from one day to the next, perhaps even from one year to the next. And if we've really done our life homework, releasing the pain of the past and changing our core beliefs, we no longer need a high that enables us to escape the past. We grow quite content with the high that is not so sharp and vertical, perhaps less high, but more enduring, more lasting. We seek that vigor and excitement with flow, with inner calm, and without the crash. That desire to never come down is what drove the escalation of your obsessions in the first place. Always more, always higher, always something to drag you out of tomorrow's inevitable crash. The desire for a high with carryover that carries over from day to day without the hangover is what we all seek, whether we're consciously aware of it or not. And it's not only possible, but necessary for feelings like life is well spent. How? A sense of true aliveness in this life is very doable, but it demands doing a bit of work. Three things in particular. First, every piece of your past that created the crud in your soul is a memory, right? But each memory has an emotional charge, either positive, negative, or neutral, sort of like every atom comes with a charge. That's why some memories come with positive feelings, and some have the power to make you feel yucky, and some are just memories, thoughts, without any effect or feeling at all. And it is the charge, not the memory itself, that is doing the damage to your soul and life. Negatively charged memories have a weight to them that drags you down from the inside. The greater the accumulation, the greater the heaviness. Thus, the first steps towards aliveness is to decharge the memories, to remove the negative charges they carry. Can you imagine having lots of memories of different life events, but not getting agitated inside or sad, mad, or frustrated when you recall that memory? Can you imagine just having a lifetime of memories without the heaviness many of them bring? It is tremendously freeing and light. But that quest for lightness of the soul also means selectively releasing the positively charged memories too. Why? Think about it. Positively charged memories actually have the power to hold you back, slow you down, and keep you looking backwards rather than forwards. We've all had the experience of thinking back on the loving memories of an ex-boyfriend or an ex-girlfriend and to find ourselves obsessing and thinking, what if? We've all experienced life stopping or our love life stopping because we're so consumed with loving, warm, happy, positive thoughts of some ex. Well, that is a perfect example of positively charged memories actually being destructive to our life, our forward movement, and our growth. Another example, we often make life harder today by focusing on how great life used to be. The destruction wrought by relative success and relative happiness comes not from comparing ourselves to those around us, as too often the case with many people, but to a past, happier version of ourselves, or a past version who seemed to have so many more opportunities in front of him or her. or we stay fixated on a childhood home or the glory days of college or previous successes. Second, and far more importantly, true aliveness demands destroying the impact of those negative experiences, particularly the impact on your core beliefs. This is huge. Huge. Your core beliefs are fundamentally the operating system that drives your entire life, whether you're aware of them or not. Most people are not. We have stories, memories, and values about life that we remember, know, and consider part and parcel of our being and existence. But below that are the imprints, the beliefs, and the non memories, events that occurred and messages that were received, but none of which were remembered or consciously understood, that are innate to who we are, but are completely unknown to our conscious mind. Unearthing, identifying, and hopefully changing those core beliefs requires either a spiritual, not religious, grow or a disciplined commitment of time and energy to do it oneself using proper tools. However, the absolute core and most important element of spiritual counseling is the changing of one's core beliefs. Without that most fundamental change, nothing else changes or even matters. Third, moving into a state of true aliveness also demands living in full concert with your own intuition, tuning into your body, your feelings, and what feels right inside of you, no longer allowing your power source to be outside of you in someone else, be it parents, spouse, boss, children, friends, or society. It is to finally be governed by the quiet whisper of your soul and not the fears tumbling around in your head or the negativity and expectations of those around you. What's missing in your life is a relationship with your own self. To fully commune with your own deepest and truest self is what it means to finally be fully alive. Deadness comes from disconnect from your true self, as written on your soul. All the external trappings of life cannot come anywhere near the life satisfaction that comes from full communion with the spirit of the universe lying deep inside of you, whispering in a voice indistinguishable from your own, very own. Finding the patterns. For decades, I have counseled some of the world's wealthiest people, as well as street people. I have counseled faculty at the top universities in the world, as well as struggling teens and 20s, top Olympians and the physically infirm, the boldest and the most afraid, the oldest and the youngest, the intrepid and the intimidated, the successful and the struggling, as well as couples struggling so valiantly to save or fight for their relationship. Additionally, 30 years ago, I was a math major and a religious studies major in college, and my master's degree is in divinity, spirituality. If there's one thing that my math and science history gave me, it's a nose for patterns. And if there's one thing the decades of spirituality and religion has brought, it's my love for the human soul. This book is a compilation of the patterns I've seen in human nature and neglect of the soul. My whole life, including my own deepest inner work, is about seeing patterns in the human experience and using those to bring people into greater experiences of the spiritual side of life, which starts and ends inside, and which is tapped into through your intuition. It is found in solitude, quiet, and times of reconnecting to your own source energy. It is this spiritual side and only this side that has the power to yield the true fruit you seek: flow, happiness, peace, carryover, and aliveness. For that truly is the point of it all. And lastly, I know that you feel weak, and I know you want to give up. It is not time. Nope, not now. It is time to change you. It is time for me to give you what I've been given. It is time to turn all of that clutter around now, today, this week, this month. It is time. Song recommendation 1. I love this kick ass song of hope and the great opening of the soul. Download and dig this upbeat tune and monster lyrics of Unwritten by Natasha Bedingfield. 2. Download Till I Collapse by Eminem. It's great on YouTube with the video from the Real Steels movie, but the song itself is a monster. And bonus tracks. For the readers looking for more, check out bonus track 1, The Root of All Depression and Anxiety. It is in the back of the book. Take a moment to notice what stirred for you as you listened. You don't need to fix it or understand it yet. If this resonated, please like the video, subscribe to the channel, and leave a comment. I'd love to hear what stood out for you. You can also find the full series and my work linked below.